Hey, babe, so the kids are asleep, and I thought it could be cool if we maybe like watched a movie or something like that tonight, do something together. There's like this new movie that came out I saw in the Apple Store that looked really good. Okay, like what is it about? So it's a horror movie, but I think you might enjoy it. What is it? Well, if you let me finish. It's got Dave Franco and his new wife together in the same movie, co-acting. Isn't that fun? Oh my gosh, why didn't you just lead off with that? I've been wanting to see that. Okay!
What's going on?
I don't know. Since the move, Tim and I haven't been on the same page.
Together is a brand spanking new psychological body horror romance movie that is written and directed by Michael Shanks. I am not familiar with anything else that Michael Shanks has done, and it famously co-stars husband and wife duo Dave Franco and Alison Brie. The film is about this young couple. They are not married. They are living in the city. We have Millie, played by Alison Brie, who is a young school teacher who is in the beginnings of her career. And because of this, she is pushing the couple, herself and Dave Franco, to move out into kind of like a remote, out in the sticks town where she would have a brand new start as a teacher at a new school. It's much more focused and small, and she thinks that she can actually make an impact into the lives of her students there. And then you have Tim, played by Dave Franco. Tim is a struggling, aspiring musician. He is a guitar player who I believe has spent the last few years out of work. He's kind of openly criticized by her Millie's friends and things like that in the beginning of the movie. And he's also dealing with some personal trauma within his family, where he went to his parents' home to find that his father has long been dead, and his mother has like lost her mind, and she's been like sharing a bed with his dead body. So he's going through some shit. He's had some anxiety issues and some PTSD from the scene I just described. So in the beginning of this film, they are throwing like their going away party, where we get all of this exposition about Tim and his family drama, his struggles as a musician, and kind of like this lack of progress into adulthood, where people kind of question his ambition and whether or not he is good enough for Millie. And then you have Millie, who's like a very outspoken, strong woman who is, like I said, kind of in the early goings of her career as a teacher with momentum. And to kind of rekindle her relationship with Tim and to also kickstart her career, they move off into this small town out in the sticks, several hours away from all of their friends and family in the city. Now we get to this town. So within this town, it is surrounded by forest. In the very, very beginning of the film, we have like a cold open where they show local authorities scouring the woods at night. They are looking for missing hikers. And there are, I don't know if these two dogs are part of the search party or if they're just two dogs that just got out into the woods, but these dogs find a large hole in the ground, and the dogs go down into this cave. And inside of this cave is this giant, it almost looks like an alien butthole in the ground. And in the center of this butthole, there is a pool of still water. And the two dogs drink out of the water, and then later they return home to their owner's household. And the next day, the owner finds the two of these dogs like fused together at the head. And then the movie hard cuts, and then we shift over and we do this whole going away party for Tim and Millie. Tim and Millie move out to the country. We learn that they have not had many moments of intimacy in quite a while. That's mentioned. Tim has some freaky nightmares about his parents. Probably like the only like legitimate, straight up scary scene of the film is a dream sequence involving his parents. But we cut to the next day, and Tim and Millie go off backpacking. They're like, oh, there's some great hiking that we should do together. And sure enough, the two of them find the very same hole in the ground. And like any good hikers in a horror movie do, they fall into the hole. And then because it's raining outside, they logically reach the conclusion of, well, instead of trying to get out of this cave and going home, let's just wait out the storm, this generic, normal, just rainstorm, by sleeping in this cave. But we're really thirsty and we don't have any water left. And it just so happens that there's this pool of water right here in the cave with us. So if we get thirsty, we can just drink from this pool of water. Now listen, I'm not like a survivalist or an outdoorsman. I do a little bit of hiking here and there, but nothing even borderline serious. I think they teach you, or like someone should teach you when you're young, that you're not supposed to drink still water, like ever. That's just like one of the rules of water out in the wild, is if you're going to have to drink water, never drink still water. So that kind of threw me for a loop. But Dave Franco, he drinks the water. And the rest of the film is the two of them dealing with the repercussions of Dave Franco drinking the water.
Whiskey for the pain.
I always try to avoid spoiling the film wherever possible. I do know that the promotional material for the movie, the trailers, etc., they've shown footage of Dave Franco and his wife getting physically fused together. Whatever is in this water, I don't know if it's like a parasite. They don't explain too much into what is actually going on. Why is there this alien butthole in the ground? They do make connections later on in the film to a local cult that worshipped some sort of deity. That's all I will say. But essentially, the two people that end up consuming the water, they get this bacteria or whatever it is in them. And as this bacteria slowly consumes and takes over your body, the two beings just get biologically attached and attracted to one another, even to the point where you will involuntarily be forced to move closer to the person. So naturally, the film, it touches on a lot of like codependency issues within a relationship where, you know, people, they get so far down that rabbit hole of just me and you living in this house together that they almost forget how to function. There's themes that kind of touch on the idea of refusing to leave a bad relationship simply for the fear of, I don't know anything. I don't know what my life is like without this person, and I'm afraid of figuring out what that might be. So they pull on that kind of stuff. A lot of just fairly cliche couple things, you know, abusive relationships, gaslighting, the codependency thing. There's an element of control, especially because Dave Franco's character, because he's always lived in the city, I guess he has never seen the need to get a driver's license. So when they move out to the sticks, Millie has to drive him to and from the train station. There's a few times where he is trying to reignite his music career, and he gets a few opportunities to play with a band, and so she'll have to take him to the train station. He goes into the city, and then he'll play shows with this band. But that's fairly short-lived. Performance-wise, I thought it was good. I was trying to think of like what else Dave Franco has been in that I have seen, and I thought of the 10 seconds that he's in Superbad. I also thought of I don't even know if he's in This Is the End, but I know that ironically This Is the End was kind of the end of that 2010s comedy phase where it was all about Seth Rogen and Danny McBride and James Franco. I felt like, and Michael Cera, I felt like This Is the End kind of marked the end of that era of comedy. And so I just assumed, I'm sure Dave Franco was probably in that at some point. But I don't know. I thought that the two of them, they've got decent chemistry. They are a married couple.
I love you.
Dave Franco and Alison Brie, but they both did a pretty good job. I came away impressed at Dave Franco. I thought the movie was going to be kind of bad, and I was very pleasantly surprised that it was quite good. It is, at very minimum, a very fun, like, date night movie. The horror is light. There's some pretty good scenes of gross body horror, but they're kind of just fun. You know, they make you turn your head away and you have a laugh. But that's my overall sentiment on the movie. So the review is just, it's a thumbs up. I would definitely recommend this to people who just like any movies that are fun. Like I said, it's a very mild horror film. There's nothing in here that's going to like linger with you an hour after the movie ends. But overall, it's good. Performances were good. The movie's not too long. There's also a good character is one of the teachers at the school that Millie starts working at is, I don't know who plays him. I'd have to see. Pause with me. His name is Damon Harriman. And he plays this teacher who's like very friendly, and he kind of has this like off-putting vibe throughout the movie where you're just kind of waiting for this dude to do something strange. But he's really good. I think he plays that role really well where you're just always like, is this dude weird? Is he not weird? I think he might be weird, but who knows? So he's good. And there's some squeamish stuff, like if you don't like seeing like people's like lips get, you know, fused together, and just weird like body horror stuff that you don't typically see in a film. If that stuff bothers you, maybe skip out on this one. There's some sexual scenes that were definitely squeamish where you're just sitting on the couch like clenching your anus and you're just like, oh my gosh, when is this over? But nothing too bad. Just a fun movie. It's not crazy. It's not going to knock your socks off with its themes or its cinematography or anything like that. Just go watch it if you want to have fun. I like to keep these as short as possible, and that's nice and short and sweet. So together, Dave Franco, Alison Brie, it gets a thumbs up. Go see it. I really enjoyed it.